My wife's sister tried to destroy our wedding using her 3-year-old daughter. Some people have tales of nightmare mother-in-laws, but in my case, it's my sister-in-law who's the problem. My wife Francesca and I got engaged 2 years ago and got married this year in April. We don't have kids yet, but we plan to have them in the near future. Our plan has been to buy a house, get married, and have kids in that order. I have one brother who has 3 young kids, the oldest being 7. Francesca's brother has 2 kids, the oldest is 6, and her sister has a 3-year-old daughter, Mandy. We love our nieces and nephews, but truth be told, they're a lot to handle separately, so the idea of having 6 kids, all under the age of 8 at our wedding, was daunting, especially as our wedding was going to be fairly small, and so we decided on a child-free wedding. My brother was fine with this. To be honest, I think he was even a little relieved not to have to bring his kids. The youngest of them was in the mind stage, and if you took anything away from him, he would scream, kick, and even bite. His older 2 kids could go from being best friends to full-on fistfights in a split second. As I said, I love them, but I didn't want those possibilities looming over our wedding. Francesca's brother also understood our point of view and joked, "My boys at a fancy event, you're saving me thousands in property damage." His wife lined up a babysitter well in advance. Francesca's mom sighed, feeling torn about it, but she respected our choice. My mom was similar. She said, "Well, it won't feel quite the same without them, but it's your wedding." It was Francesca's sister Lila who did not take it well. The moment she heard the words child-free wedding, her face contorted. "You're excluding family," she snapped at Francesca. "Your niece is family. She should be at your wedding." "It's not about her," Francesca replied gently. "We're not having any kids there. We're just avoiding tantrums and meltdowns." "Tantrums?" Lila repeated, her eyebrows so high they nearly touched her hairline. "This is a family event. Mandy is family. She's your niece. I expected you to ask her to be front and center as your flower girl." I stepped in. "We want a quiet ceremony, very simple, no distractions." "Mandy won't be a distraction," Lila argued, as though her child had not thrown a screaming fit the last 3 times we went out to dinner with them. "We're not changing our mind," Francesca told her. Lila's eyes narrowed. "Fine, then you pay for the babysitter." "No," we both said instantly. Lila laughed, one of those ugly, disbelieving laughs. "You're serious?" "Yes," Francesca replied. "We're going to have a Zoom link for relatives who can't make it. If you can't get a babysitter, you can still watch." "I'm not watching my own sister get married on a screen like some distant cousin," Lila objected. "Look, it's what we can offer," I explained. "No," Lila said, cold and final. "I will be at your wedding, and so will Mandy." "No, you won't," Francesca replied. She snatched up her purse and we left Lila's house. Weeks passed without another word from her. I should have known silence wasn't peace. It was preparation and plotting. The morning of the wedding was perfect. Clear sky, perfect temperature. It might be tradition not to see the bride beforehand, but we didn't stand on ceremony. We were gathered in the vestibule before any guests arrived, just the wedding party and our parents. Francesca looked so beautiful. I felt winded. I couldn't believe I got to marry her. I'd never felt like that before. I can't describe how lucky I felt and how nervous I felt about whether I even deserved her. And then Lila's voice pierced the air like a siren. "Francesca!" We both turned. Lila stormed towards the chapel doors, Mandy on her hip. Mandy was wearing a poofy white dress with white shoes, like a miniature bride. I felt my eye twitch, but I stayed quiet. Francesca froze. "Lila, what are you doing?" "What does it look like?" Lila snapped. "We're here for the wedding." "You can't bring her in," Francesca said, her voice firm. "She's family," Lila shot back. "She should be here when her aunt gets married." I intervened. "We said no kids. Your brother and my brother made babysitting arrangements weeks ago, and they aren't bringing their kids." "You're controlling her," Lila hissed at me. "Francesca would never have done this before you." "That's enough," Francesca said, stepping in between us. Mandy started to cry. Loud, sharp, and instant. Lila began to bounce her uselessly. Then my mom stepped in, trying to soothe the situation. "Lila, honey, it's their day. And you do need to respect their— Oh, shut up, Lila snapped. You don't even like my kid. My mom recoiled, and I half shouted, Don't you dare talk to my mom like that. Francesca looked Lila in the eyes and pointed to the door, saying, Lila, you need to leave. Now. Lila stared at her, really stared for several seconds as if in disbelief, and then screamed at us, You are all monsters! She spun around and stormed away, her shrieking daughter still bouncing in her arms. The doors closed behind her with a heavy thud. Francesca squeezed her eyes shut. I held her until she stopped shaking. Well, that's over, I murmured. It's done. In an hour or two we'll be married. And a little while later we were. The ceremony was beautiful. It was exactly what we dreamed of, and exactly what we had planned for. I felt like we'd made it to the finish line. But not quite. The first thing I noticed when we got to the reception venue wasn't the decor, or the quiet background music, or the guests. It was the hush. A deep, uneasy, unnatural hush. People were standing near the center of the room, hands over their mouths. Francesca squeezed my hand and whispered, What's going on? And then I saw it, or what used to be it, the cake. Our beautiful 3-tier, white and gold wedding cake that had taken us weeks to decide on, and hundreds of dollars to create, was destroyed, demolished, frosting smeared across the floor, cake chunks everywhere. The top tier was split in half on the ground like someone had thrown it, and in the middle of the destruction was Mandy, sitting amongst the remains of the cake, smearing frosting across the floor, covered, absolutely plastered in frosting. It was in her hair, her ears, all over her face, her hands, and dress. She looked like she'd bathed in it. And standing beside her, phone out, smiling like she'd won a prize, was Lila. Look at you, baby girl, she cooed. Get some more, go ahead. Francesca's yell ripped through the room. Lila! Everyone jumped. Lila turned slowly, a fake smile plastered on. Oh, hey, isn't this cute? Cute? Francesca was shaking visibly. You let her destroy our cake? She's a child, Lila shrugged. Kids do things. You brought her here after we told you not to, I spat out, my voice cold. You excluded us, Lila answered, her tone flipping into victim mode. This is what happens when people feel ostracized and unwelcome. Francesca pointed her finger in Lila's face, furious. You did this to punish us! Lila didn't deny it. She just smirked. Mandy slapped another handful of cake onto the floor. Lila fake giggled and took another picture. That's when I really saw red. You're sick, I told her, and I meant it. I'm her mother, Lila snapped, and I get to decide. No, Francesca interrupted, her voice suddenly calm. You don't ever get to decide anything for me ever again. She pointed at the door. Get out. Really? Lila said dismissively. Get out. You can't be serious. Now! Francesca yelled. I think that was the first moment Lila realized she'd actually gone too far. The guests had been crowded around us in a circle, and as Lila looked around, I think she saw that the disgust with her behavior was pretty much unanimous. Our friend Mark picked Mandy up off the floor, put her into Lila's arms, and escorted Lila out. She kept arguing, but everyone ignored her. I heard guests murmuring in anger, shocked tones, and there were people approaching us to apologize as if the cake was their fault. Francesca's mother cried. But our friend Sophia saved the day. While all this hullabaloo had been going on, she had slipped away and called a local bakery. Obviously, they couldn't do anything fancy or personalized, but they did have 2 rather plain cakes, one larger than the other. The baker placed the smaller cake on top of the larger, wrote Happily Ever After on top in thin red frosting, and rushed it over. Meanwhile, venue staff cleaned up the incredible mess, and we occupied ourselves with the best man speech and a toast. The cake cutting wasn't what we'd envisioned, and the cake didn't match anything, but we had one, and we made the best of it. We had a good time, actually a great time going into the evening, and definitely salvaged a lovely wedding from the wreckage that Lila had tried to bring. But Francesca confided in me as we danced for maybe the 20th time that she was done with Lila. Done. For good. The next morning, I woke up to a slew of notifications. Lila's name was in all of them. She'd posted on TikTok, and Facebook, and Instagram, and probably apps I don't even have, wherever she could click post. According to her, she had been excluded, humiliated, punished for being a mother, and publicly shamed. She claimed Mandy had accidentally found the cake after they had been kept outside like animals. The comments were full of sympathy from people who didn't know the truth. Francesca sat beside me on the bed, breathing fast, and raged. "She's lying, and she's making me the villain," she said. "She won't get away with it," I told her. And she didn't, because the venue had cameras. They sent the footage when Francesca asked for it. I'm pretty sure they were scared of being liable for cake expenses, but Francesca wanted Lila to pay for the cake, and the footage would be the evidence in a small claims court. Clear shots of Lila bringing Mandy inside, pointing to the cake, encouraging Mandy to put her hands in the frosting, to eat the cake, and to eventually destroy it, all while she was laughing and egging Mandy on and filming it. Francesca posted the footage with one sentence: "This is what really happened." And social media turned on Lila like a pack of wolves. Suddenly, Francesca wasn't the villain, she was the victim. And Lila? People called her disloyal to her family, manipulative, harmful to her own child, a liar, a narcissist. All of which was true in my book. Lila sent a half-hearted apology and Francesca blocked her. Then she filed a small claims court case for the cost of the cake and for emotional distress. I sat beside her as she signed the paperwork. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. She looked up at me, eyes tired but resolute. She's done stuff like this to me my whole life. It feels good to finally do something about it. I pulled her close. Well, I've got you, and we've got this. Lila was forced to pay for the cake she let Mandy destroy, or pushed Mandy to destroy, also for the replacement cake, and $3,000 for emotional distress. The judge came down hard on her, commenting when giving the verdict, "I've never seen someone make such a blatant attempt to destroy a wedding simply because you didn't get your own way. I pray that your child does not learn these traits from you." So while it wasn't what we expected on our wedding day, we still had a great wedding. We had our honeymoon, and we had the court judgment in our favor. Francesca seems lighter now, not having to deal with Lila on a weekly basis like she did before. She's not living in the shadow of Lila's demands. And I think I've fallen deeper in love with her, seeing her have this new strength, watching her stand up for herself. And that is the best thing to have come out of this whole ordeal. If you enjoyed this reading and want to hear more, please subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. Please hit the like button and check out our playlists of family drama stories, Am I the A-Hole posts, or Tales of Entitled People. You'll find those lists and many more at our channel. This has been Tales by Rachel, where we breathe life into every story.